Open your eyes.
If you are wondering why everything going on in the world feels so terribly off, then you have come to the right place. A veil has been put over the eyes of humanity. Evil people in high places have been hiding the truth in plain sight and building a false reality on lies and deception for far too long. And now, their time is coming to an end. It's time to fight back, to wake up, and to begin an uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
This is a time for judgment. Welcome to today's show. This will not surprise anyone because I've covered it many times in the past, but if you're new, it might, because you might start connecting the dots. You may remember I covered all this stuff, and I've said it a lot recently because everyone's starting to see it, about how they were putting children in roles that adults would play in movies. Okay? Where instead of, we had high school movies in the day in the 80s, right, where the kids would have a party and the parents were out of town, they'd get drunk, they'd hook up, they'd talk about the prom night, you know, all the propaganda they push, okay? In the last couple of years, they've turned that into 8th graders and little kids hooking up with other kids and pushing and hinting at adults and kids. So all those things have come to fruition, and they've planted the seeds, and people think and still think that I'm crazy over talking about that stuff, you know, like the characters on shows educating the parents. Like Modern Family's the perfect example. The young boy always educates the parents. They go to him for advice. Why? Because they are trying to adult children. That's what you see going on now. That's why they want kids to pick their gender at the age of 5. And if their parents don't let them, they're smarter than their parents. They should be run away from the home, and parents should be arrested, right? Well, the other thing that we see over and over again is incest popping up more and more. And the reason that they do all these things isn't just because they're massive perverts, they're disgusting. It's because they do everything in the Bible backwards. Satanists, you have to remember, read the Bible. They, in fact, know the Bible better than a lot of Christians do. But they interpret the Bible backwards. So everything that God forbids, everything that God is disgusted by, they partake in. The 10 Commandments in a lot of satanic churches and satanic covens and satanic secret societies, they have to break the 10 Commandments for their initiation. And yes, that includes the one that starts with murdering. Oh, right, it ends with murdering. They have to do those things. So everything that is in the Bible that God forbids, they want to normalize. That is part of what you're seeing happening right now in front of our eyes. One of those things is incest. And one of the things we've seen over and over is that they're starting to hint at it, normalize it, put sons and mothers and daughters and fathers in situations in shows that would hint at that. I covered a show, I Love a Mama's Boy, at one point. And now I'm covering a show called MILF Manor. Now, for those of you who don't know, MILF stands for mother, attractive mom, let's just say. An older woman who's attractive and younger guys like the older woman. MILF Manor, you would think, was a show. Oh, MILF Manor. All right, I guess it sounds like a ridiculous, crappy show. You know, they're trying to do like The Bachelor, a dating show where young guys date older women, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't sound very original. I'm sure there's 50 of these, right, that have already come out. I'm sure somebody out there will be like, yeah, I've heard shows like that. It's not a big deal. Well, there's a catch. There's a catch to MILF Manor. I'm about to show you. MILF Manor is about women, 8 moms trying to find love. But then the moms find out that the 8 contestants who are there, the 8 men, are their sons. Yeah, take a look.
That's my mom right there. Mamá, ¿qué haces aquí?
Just saw straight to Jose's eyes and just stay there for a couple of seconds.
Wait, that's my mom right there? This can't be going on.
We're supposed to date the other moms?
You're here. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I knew my son Gabriel was going to be in Mexico with me, and I'm gonna have to see my son date these moms.
Seeing my son standing in that line made me feel very awkward because they're my son's age.
A little shocked to see Ryan in the pool.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm thinking first pick in the draft. Like, I'm looking at everything else before my mom.
Thank God for that.
Why are you following me on the retreat, Joey?
Honestly, older women are very hot, and I know I got the swag.
Wow, this is like news to me.
But whenever I bring a woman home, it's all up to my mom whether I'm dating her or not.
Yes, winning.
Been winning.
So MILF Manor has a little twist, right? Now you might say, well, what does that matter? Well, you put your mother in a situation with their son, and then their son is making out with women who are her age in front of her, and their mother is making out with boys that are their age in front of him, it starts hinting and suggesting this. Now, even in this show, and I'm not sitting through this show, I only know about this because somebody posted on the website. I want to thank that person right now. I forgot to in the intro. I don't know who it was off the top of my head because I don't have it in front of me. I've had this written down as something I have to cover, but I want to thank that person. Anyway, back to the topic here. They've hinted at it even in clips of the show that if the son doesn't find anyone there, that maybe he dates mom. They've hinted at the mom and son even hooking up before. They make little subtle suggestions. That's how mind control works. They seed plant. If the mom were to immediately make out with her son on the show and everyone's like, oh, well, then they are doing it. I'm sure, though, in this society, people will be like, that's perfectly fine because, well, it doesn't get, I mean, would it surprise you with the insanity going on? But there would be an uproar to have the show canceled. They probably would have to cancel it. So what they do is they start continuing to plant these seeds. Remember, earlier in the episode, I'll show you a clip right now, I covered this other show, I Love a Mama's Boy. What was the I Love a Mama's Boy about? Well, it was about a girl who was dating a guy who was a mama's boy. But the mama was always there, getting in like the third wheel in the relationship. And the mom was just constantly talking about, oh, she loves her son. She wants to slow dance with her son, kissing her son. Same thing, TLC, more garbage.
There's a first for everything. Okay. Hi. Hello. I love Ethan so much. He's my little cookie monster. So we're here for the mother-son dance.
We want it to be romantic, sexual, sensual, everything.
Like that way? You can bring it on in. There you go.
Yeah, baby. Get that hip over here.
The mother and son dance is very important. Ethan wants to dance to Sexual Healing.
Grab your mother.
I'll grab my mother.
Grab her tight.
Get over here, baby.
Oh my.
Now dance on me. Like grind on me.
Oh my God. All right.
I like the thing when she just walks on me. Feel like a baller. Got this hot MILF on my back.
The flirting really does bother me.
It's got my juices flowing.
And it looks like they're more together than we are, but something I've gotten used to.
And spanky, spanky.
So this is something we see suggested now. They are suggesting these notions. And the Bible forbids these things. And I'll read you some Bible verses in case you didn't know that this was even in the Bible, because some people don't. In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1, I can hardly believe the report about the sexual immorality going on among you, something that even pagans don't do. I am told that a man in your church is living in sin with his stepmother. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 6 through 7. You must never have sexual relations with a close relative, for I am the Lord. Do not violate your father by having sexual relations with your mother. She is your mother. You must not have sexual relations with her. Leviticus chapter 18, verses 8 through 10. Do not have sexual relations with any of your father's wives, for this would violate your father. Do not have sexual relations with your sister or half-sister, whether it's your father's daughter or your mother's daughter, whether she was born into your household or someone else's. Do not have sexual relations with your granddaughter, whether she is your son's daughter or your daughter's daughter, for this would violate yourself. Leviticus chapter 18, verses 11 through 17. Do not have sexual relations with your stepsister, the daughter of any of your father's wives, for she is your sister. Do not have sexual relations with your father's sister, for she is your father's close relative. Do not have sexual relations with your mother's sister, for she is your mother's close relative. Do not violate your uncle, your father's brother, by having sexual relations with his wife, for she is your aunt. Do not have sexual relations with your daughter-in-law, for she's your son's wife, so you must not have sexual relations with her. Do not have sexual relations with your brother's wife, for this would violate your brother. Do not have sexual relations with both a woman and her daughter. And do not take her granddaughter, whether her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter, and have sexual relations with her. They are close relatives, and this would be a wicked act. And it goes on. And it goes on. And the Bible talks about cursing people who have violated these things. In Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 20, curses anyone who has sexual intercourse with one of his father's wives, for he has violated his father, and all the people will reply, amen. And it goes on and on. Okay, so we see, I mean, God even, the death penalty, Leviticus chapter 20, verse 11, if a man has sexual relations with his father's wife and he has dishonored his father, both the man and the woman are to be put to death. Their blood will be on their own hands. So God obviously despises this, okay? Clearly and obviously, just like there's other things he despises that they're doing openly and now giving rights to in this world. So it makes sense for them to normalize this because everything will be inverted. What was good will be evil. What was evil will be good. You're in the middle of seeing it right now. So back to MILF Manor. MILF Manor fans have branded the show's concept sick after a shock twist left surprised viewers with their jaws on the floor. The TLC show follows 8 MILFs in their search to find love with younger men, but a surprise revelation resulted in baffled contestants and horrified fans. After the 8 contestants introduced themselves to the audience and each other, they mingled for a while before they were introduced to their potential partners, suitors. The men were brought onto the show, but TLC kept their identities hidden, showing just bulging biceps and washboard stomachs as they took their places behind a screen. In front of them stood the MILFs, all catcalling and expressing their enthusiasm as the curtain dropped. However, their faces quickly changed to shock and confusion as they realized that the men behind the screens were their sons. The men who had previously admitted that they were ready to meet mature women who are comfortable with themselves were equally as amazed when they realized that their own mothers were standing before them. And again, they hint at this type of stuff, who the boys are like, oh, I don't know if this guy's good enough for my mom. No one's good enough for my mom. And the mom saying the same as the son. All these things that give hints of it. And that's what they need to do to begin desensitizing people to break down barriers. That's how we are where we are. For anyone out there goes, how are we at this stage? How did we get to a point where we have John Bobbitts in this world who are being glorified? And people in libraries reading to kids who shouldn't be reading to... How did this become an acceptable, tolerant thing to people other than those people doing it? How did regular people get brainwashed into it? Because of tactics like this. They've been planting characters and seeds in shows to do these types of things. And this is the next big wave you're going to see. So of course, at first they're going to say, it's shocking, it's disturbing. But in 2 or 3 years, while the show's still on the air and the ratings are high, they'll eventually get more and more, oh, okay, this is okay. I mean, then so far, no mom has ended up with her son. Oh, and then it's season 5. And then all of a sudden, one of the moms ends up with her son. But it's her stepson, so it's not really a big deal because they're not blood related. That's what we'll hear. And they'll continue and continue and continue to desensitize and normalize this crap. So TLC posted the clip of the reveal on their Instagram profile. Big reveal. Meet the men, a.k.a. the sons. Looking for love with an older woman on MILF Matter. What do you think of the last night's premiere? Let us know in the comments. Viewers let loose in the comment section. Didn't hold back as they slammed the show for the unusual dating format. One fan wrote, disturbing, awkward, sick, inappropriate. Another added, not going to watch. This feels so weird and awkward. I'm not being a part of normalizing this. Exactly. Good job on them. Some even called out the channel for fetishing and promoting incest and slammed the people who agreed to do this, as they may be desperate for fame. Others gathered to ask TLC if they could have back the hour they just wasted and stated that they couldn't make it through the episode and branded the show garbage and trash, which is exactly what it is. So some people see the agenda out there. It's important for all of us, not just to see it, but to understand it. It gives a better perspective to help wake up Christians. Because when Christians start seeing what's going on in the world, and you start showing them how these are all things forbidden by God, we all know the only thing we ever hear, debate about with Christians is, should you accept the LG or should you not? TCQ community or not? And we actually have Christians who accept it because they go to the New Testament and they say, well, Jesus loves everybody, so we don't have to believe in the Old Testament. Everybody has a debate. And of course, I don't believe that debate at all. I believe the Old Testament is just as needed as the New Testament. But these are types of things. If people start seeing the wicked and the evil and then understanding that the ultimate goal of the world elites, the guys in control, is to invert everything in the Bible. That is what Satan's plan is. Okay? Satan's plan is to do the opposite, to teach people to do the opposite, to create an immoral society, and to promote and glorify these things that God forbids. Not only because it anger God, but it will also damn all of these people to hell. So if Christians start realizing that and seeing this type of trash, instead of just going, yeah, that's gross, but I'm not going to watch it. I don't care about that. They should be going, why is it that all these things that are becoming popular from the liberal media and the liberal world order, why are all of these things the exact opposite of what the Bible teaches? Why is it that they can always mock Christians and Jesus, and anytime you say anything about anyone else, it's hate speech and you get canceled? Well, start connecting the dots. The Bible is real. It's literal. When people are like, oh man, some of these Christians are taking the Bible literally. Yeah, you're damn right we are. Excuse my French. And if you're not, you better start, because you get tricked into some of these agendas that they're pushing. And this is another one. And it's going to continue on. I'm going to continue calling it out. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're doing well. God bless all of you and your families.